I used to think I had to finish a book once I started, and I felt uncomfortable seeing a book half read and left on a shelf. And because of that, I would force myself to finish a book even when I didn't feel connected to it. And because of that, I started hesitating to pick up certain books that might take a long time, or books that didn't feel easy or fun. And because of I knew once I started, I would not let myself stop. And over time, I found myself reading less and less. Now, I don't force myself to finish a book anymore. And nothing bad happened. In fact, I started reading more. And honestly, I feel much lighter and enjoy reading more than before. The shift for me was simple. My realization, it was that there are so many amazing books in the world and my time is limited. And instead of focusing on finishing, I want to focus on experience and joy of reading itself. In this video, I want to share how I started to feel more free in my reading and how I approach books differently now. And I hope this helps you enjoy reading without feeling any pressure or obligation. The case is when I stop reading a book halfway. So I have noticed a few patterns when I stop reading a book halfway. First, the case is sometimes my life is not ready to receive the message from the book. It doesn't feel connected at that moment. So I stopped. But I feel like maybe later it will. And next case is that some books carry a lot of ideas and meaning, and each page needs my attention and my focus and time to process, so I need to read it slowly. And it takes more energy and time to go through each page. And during that time, I might find another book that feels easier to read, so I switch. So very often I read two books at the same time. One book feels heavier and slower, and the other book feels lighter and easier. And third case would be sometimes the book itself just doesn't keep my attention or my interest. And I try to continue, but it doesn't hold my attention and interest long enough to finish a book. These are the some of moments when I stop reading a book halfway. And stopping a book is not a bad thing. It's just part of our reading experience. Recently, I picked up a book from my shelf and I started reading it. This is the book. And at first, I felt like a light and interesting read. And a few chapters, I felt like I understood the main message. And in my mind, I thought, okay, I got the main message, I got it. And the main message was that the book was talking about how and when we see images of a world, we shouldn't just look at the cruelty of image itself. We should also pay attention to who is showing these images and what messages they are trying to deliver. And it gave several examples of how images are used and how they can influence people's emotions or gain support. And I thought, oh, this is something I want to remember, and I'm glad to learn about it. But as I kept reading, I started noticing that the next chapters keep explaining the same ideas on and again and again. And in my mind, I kept asking, okay, what's next? What's new? And at one point, I even flipped through the rest of the pages to see if there was anything new. And reading the book started to feel heavy. So not because the topic was not interesting, but because I didn't want to read the same messages again and again. And after I read more than a half of the book, I decided to stop reading. And then I moved on, and I didn't go back to it, and I don't regret it. And I realized I don't have to finish every book if I feel like already get the main message. Already understand the main idea. So now I don't force myself to keep reading if it doesn't connect with me. Why it is okay to stop? When I think about why I read books, it's not just to finish them. I read for fun, enjoyment, to think more deeply, to learn something, and sometimes to experience someone else's life. So even if I read just one page or only part of a book, as long as I'm reading, it still have a value for me. So these are a few reasons why I think it's okay to stop reading a book halfway. The first is I can come back later. So I feel like there is always a kind of a mystic timing or bond between me and a book. Even the same book can feel different depending on where I am in my life. So if a book doesn't feel right now, it's okay to stop. Maybe I can come back to it later. And then second is my time matters. So there are so many books in the world and my time is limited. So when a book is not for me right now, I just move on. I would rather spend my time on something that feels more meaningful to me. And the third reason is I learn about myself. So when I stop reading a book halfway, I start to notice what I don't enjoy. So maybe it's the topic or the writing style or the way the story is told. And I start to understand my own preferences and what kind of books I enjoy. And that helps me choose better next time. And then four, the books are a bit like movies or dramas to me. So sometimes I watch a few episodes and realize, oh, it's not for me. Then I stop watching. So I think reading can be similar. So there is no guilt or obligation to finish it. So for me, stopping a book is also part of a reading experience. And today I shared some cases when I did not finish a book and why it's okay for me to stop. And it helped me let go of that feeling of obligation. And now I feel more free when I choose what to read. And one page at a time, and I just want to enjoy reading. How about you? Do you feel like you need to finish every book or do you allow yourself to stop? Thank you for sharing your time with me. If you enjoy reflection reading and journaling, I would love to see you again here at Moon Reading Room. Bye-bye.